You are here live with us for Spa Biz Tip Tuesday. And this week's topic is how to keep your appointment books filled. But before we get into that, we do have a couple of announcements. We want to welcome the new members, that's for sure. And just a couple of housekeeping things that we noticed coming up in some of the posts. I think there was a recent one on the like trains, and somebody was posting in the group about starting a Instagram like train or a Facebook like train. So Brooke and I, basically our theory on the like train is that it's not going to serve you to have other estheticians liking your page, especially when it comes to marketing. You want to have people, basically the guts of it is you want to have people on your pages that are your audience and not other estheticians. That's really the gist of it there. So that's why we don't particularly promote like trains. And the other thing is that our group, it is the Esthetician Marketing Club. So Brooke and I's intention is to deliver all kinds of value to help you grow your business on, in different aspects of business and marketing. So, let's try to keep the posts revolving around that and not about products or service or treatments or protocols and things like that, because there's literally a million and one groups for that. Yeah. So that would be great there. And I think you had something to add.
If you want to post about how to market your products, that's another story. But
absolutely.
Any promotions like I don't know, microblading courses or promoting your physical business, those will just be deleted. So no good posting it in our group.
They'll be deleted, and so will you. We're with love and kindness we say that, but you kind of know when you're when you're promoting. So we really, and if there's something that you feel is of value that pertains to business and marketing, just ask one of us. We're all about education, but just come to either one of us first and send us a message first, and we'll be happy to take a look at it. All right, so yay! Are we ready to dig into our
Hold on, I'm looking at it in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it looks on my end, and I don't know if it's just my computer, but it looks like really staticky and green. Is it like that for everyone else?
Just don't move around a lot.
Okay.
That was funny. That was funny.
Well, it was so bad. So I'm I hope that it's okay, we're good. I think we're good. Amanda says it's fine. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, give us some feedback. Are we all glitchy or?
Looks great. Nope, all good. Okay.
Super.
Just on my end.
Ooh, thank you. Okay, perfect. I have all tabs closed on mine except for this. That'll help too, Brooke.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So who's excited about our topic of today? It's kind of like a continuation from, last week, how to attract new clients. And this week it's how to keep your appointment books filled. And these topics were based off of some polls that Brooke and I ran inside the group just to kind of find out what you wanted to learn about. And so this was number 2 on the list. So excited for today's topic. So we have 4 points that we'd like to cover for you today. Oh, we forgot about our announcements. Sorry, yeah. We have announcements. So then, just really quick. There is a book launch announcement, and I'm really excited about this book. It's been birthing a little bit of a baby, even though, I've only got a small section in the book. There's 17 industry leaders that collectively we have created this anthology together on how to help you grow your spa business. So I think it's really neat to get so many different industry leaders' perspectives and their stories and just their trials and tribulations of, what they've done and the hardships and the perseverance and things like that. So there is a link in the group for that. The pre-sales are open, so really excited about that.
And I went ahead and put it in the comments too.
Okay, thank you. And then the other thing is, I know that I had my last workshop in the DC area, but I decided, since I'm still in Florida, I'll be in Florida till November, that I will deliver another business and marketing workshop in the Tampa area. So if you're in Florida and that interests you, you can either message me. I might just post something in the group a little bit later, but it'll just be like a small mastermind kind of a workshop. Since I'm here in Florida, I thought I would just be of service while I'm still here before I head back to Hawaii. That's the only announcements I have. What else do you have, Brooke?
I don't have any announcements this week.
Okay, good. You're like, this week, I don't. Okay. So, all right. So 4 tips today. If you want to grab pen and paper, great. If something speaks to you, I feel like it's always good to write it down. That way just kind of sinks in a little bit better. And sometimes you have a better chance of putting these things into action. And so the first tip really is to be accommodating. And what do I mean by that? Well, Brooke and I were talking, and we've witnessed, we're parts of a lot of different groups as you are as well, as estheticians, and really being accommodating is, what I really mean by that is to be of service. I mean, we're in the service industry, right? And what does that mean? That means that we need to be of service, and we really need to be, it's not about being right. It's about being kind, and it's about, really how can we perfect and improve the client experience. And I'll share a couple of different stories with you, because I know in the service industry, we do experience a couple of things. Now and again, we're going to experience some no-shows. And now and again, we're going to experience clients being late. And how do we handle those when those challenges come up? Because at the end of the day, I think that there's two ways to approach it. Well, there's really one way to approach it. I can share with you how we used to approach it at my spa, and then I'll share a story that I just shared with Brooke of something that happened at my spa too that wasn't so great, but it happened. And you know what? We can learn from it. So and that is, if someone is no-shows you, how do you respond to that? And first of all, do you respond or do you react? Because there is a difference, I think. Every one of us can feel frustrated, because I know I do, and when we experience a no-show, it's very frustrating. But we don't know the full story, and we don't know exactly what's happening on their end, right? So one of the things that my team was trained to do was to be very accommodating and not be like, pick up the phone and be like, hey, where are you? But more of like, the protocol was to say, gosh, Mrs. So-and-so or Susie, or, we had you down at 2:00 today. It's now 2:20. Just want to make sure you had the same time and date on your calendar. And basically what we're doing there is we're giving them an out. We're giving them, if they really screwed up, they're feeling bad about it. And so we don't want to compound it by calling them out. You know what I mean? Because while that might feel good for you at the moment to be right about that, it's not going to feel very good on their end. And, and you'd be very surprised if you give somebody an out, how they're like, oh, you know what? I did have it written down wrong. Now, you very well may know that they didn't, you have a booking system, whatever. But we're still giving them the out. We're still being kind about the situation, and we're being human about it, because we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And so I'll share one thing that happened in my spa that is kind of funny, but because you could potentially lose people. So we're training new front desk, and I'm in my office, and so a client comes in, and the client is late, and the new girl comes up and around the desk, and she's like, "Oh, hi, you're late." And the client looks at her, and she goes, "You're right." Turns around, walks out of my spa. Meantime, they come and get me, Maxine, in my office. And, so it's not about being right, like, we just made that client feel like shit. And you know what I mean? So here I am running out of the spa, chasing down the sidewalk after her to now kind of fix that situation. Does that make sense? So so be really, really accommodating. Even for me as a coach, I schedule, and I love to give free and complimentary coaching calls every now and then. I'll open up my book, and I have people no-show me all the time. It still happens. And so the thing is when we're in the service industry, it's going to happen. Now, if it's a habitual offender and it's happen 2-3 times, it's time now to have a conversation. But it's also how we handle that conversation. Because I think that if we talk to them with love and kindness, and we're like, look, this is my livelihood, or however you want to say it in your words, I think people just, will be more apt to hear you, number one. And, I mean, a lot of if you have a lot of habitual offenders, then you might want to look for some new clients. But hopefully that's not the case for you. But how do you guys feel about that so far? Just about that in itself? Because, being in the service industry, really truly being of service, and just before you say something about a particular situation, just ask yourself, is this really coming from a place of service? Or is this coming from a place of, I am right now, you know what I mean? And I think it might kind of give you your answer.
Yeah.
There.
And I see a lot of posts in other esthetician groups. It's like there's always one esthetician that posts, "Oh, I had a client, 3 clients no-show me today," or "I had all these clients be late." And it's like, to the extent that you guys can handle it in a productive way, or I guess a more positive way, you'll be ahead of a lot of other people in your industry. And even the energy that you give off when a client does walk in late. I remember I was a loyal client to one of a lash artist, and I referred her 2 other clients, and it was probably my 4th or 5th fill. And I just had totally forgot. I mean, I didn't have a good excuse, and I came 20 minutes late, and she just, she said I could come in, but she was really huffy the whole time, and just was really seemed really rushed. And I was like, okay, I feel like I've given you a lot of business. You have 2 other clients because of me. I could have rescheduled. You didn't need to have me come in and then be in a bad attitude the whole time. So just make sure that you provide an environment that people do want to come back to.
I think that's it at the end of the day, right on about that. And, I actually messed up last month with one of my VIP clients, and we schedule our coaching calls, a full hour, ahead of time. And I totally was off on this whole other thing with a family matter and just spaced the call. You know what I mean? And I'm getting these texts, "Don't we have a call today?" I'm like, oh, I was so mortified. Okay. I mean, it happens. We're human. We're, for the love of God, we're human. I, ended up giving her another call. I felt so bad about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But And she was really cool about it, I was super thankful. She didn't make me, she was laughing, but I was mortified. But anyway, so I think that's right, because if we, just like Brooke's experience, and then we show up and then everyone's like, oh, now I'm late and I didn't get to eat lunch and now I'm hangry and whatever, it's so not going to help. And people feel our energy. People feel our energy on the phone. And so I think it's really a big one. So be accommodating, be of service, be kind. It's about not about being right, it's about being liked, because people do business with people that they know and they like and they enjoy coming to see, and that's it.
Yeah.
So number 2, it kind of goes into being accommodating, and that is, and this is huge, because I know many estheticians fall down on this one, unless you have a system in place, and that is get into the habit of pre-booking. Now, I do want to mention that I know just about everybody has online booking systems, and I think that's fantastic, and it's really enabled our industry to grow, and it's really enabled a lot of clients to book with you, in off hours, when you're, eating dinner with your family, when you're, and things like that, and you get a notification, oh, you have a new booking. It's super cool. But it's not an excuse to avoid your client. It's not an excuse to now you don't have to talk to your client. It's not it's not a substitution for a receptionist. So we still want to be accommodating in that area. And I think that when we finish a service, if you get into the habit of, when you're wrapping up their retail and you're, and they're paying for their service for that day, before you even take their money for that day, so they're not running out the door, because if you take their money first, they're already checked out in their mind, right? But if you get into the habit of, reserving their next appointment time, so pre-book is a term that we kind of use behind the scenes. So when we're talking esthetician, we'll use that term. But I think like reserving your next appointment, and we kind of know their pattern. Okay, so our Tuesdays at 3:00, you're due for your fill, in 2 weeks. So Tuesdays at 3:00, does that work for you? Let's get you on the books, be my pleasure to schedule you. And, it's just that, no one is, bend over backwards for your client, because no one is doing it anymore. I feel like we're almost to the point where our clients annoy us. And if you're at that point, you might want to think whether or not this business is for you. And I say this okay, so I remember when I was a flight attendant, and, they say the average, lifespan of a flight attendant is 5 years. Okay, well, I met that criteria at 5 years. I was done. But I remember, I don't want to call them the old biddies, but that's what we used to call them, because they were just so disgruntled and so annoyed to do their job, and it's a service industry. And, if someone asked them for more ice or, extra soda, it's no sweat. Give them the freaking soda. Give them the can. Why are you hoarding it? It's going to go in the trash. Seriously, you know what I mean? So, but we used to just say, please retire, because you're making us all look bad by not being accommodating. And it's the same kind of thing. So if you're at that point where your client, I'm back on the accommodating thing, but if you're, at that point where your clients are annoying you, it's time to just take a little step back and see what you can do to improve some things. But I really feel, go ahead.
Sorry. It might not even be a career change. It might just be a mindset change on your part, because I think we all go through phases where we're in funks or something, but then when we kind of commit to a mindset and we're like, you know what, I'm going to be the absolute best esthetician this person has ever seen, and we really try, it totally changes the game, I think.
It does, and that's really what I mean by taking a step back, to just, I focus with anyone that works with me, we're always working on our internal self, and it's such a big a part of the equation because we want to be walking the talk, and so do what you need to do if you feel like you're becoming like, we don't want to experience burnout. Like, when we reach that point of when we're crashing and burning with things, like it's time to maybe take a step back and have an adventure day, or, you know what I mean? Go do something for you. And, but getting back to, point number 2 of pre-booking and reserving that next appointment time, try that. Try adding that to your step in the checkout process and see if, more people aren't willing to say, you know what, yeah, let's just take care of this now. And that way it's on it. Because we live in a day and age where everyone has their phone and everyone has their calendar at their fingertips. So there's no like, oh, well, let me get back home and check my calendar. Like everyone has their calendar. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to do. It's just an extra step on your part. And I feel like that extra step is going to make the difference between an extraordinary esthetician and an ordinary esthetician.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to ask if anyone had any, any comments or feedback on that, or just, adding, if anyone has added the pre-booking step to their system, to their checkout system, and how it served them.
Yeah, so Zoe just commented. She said, I used to be a receptionist at a hair salon, and they would have us say, would you like to save $5 on your next appointment by pre-booking it now or reserving it now, if you want to use that language. So that's one tactic that estheticians can implement.
Yeah.
And then Shannon says, I pre-book 75% of my appointments. I also give a discount for them to pre-book. So it's the same concept. LaQuinta, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. She had some good feedback. She said it's definitely about building good relationships in this business. And that's exactly everything that you were saying. And then Zoe also said, they said that saying it would you like, so they said that saying, would you like, is a psychological trigger that makes people more likely to say yes. So instead of saying something like, you'll be due for, or kind of offering,
I like that.
Would you like? So
that's a great suggestion, so would you like to set up your next appointment time? It'll be, you'll have the time you want and it's all good. No, I like that.
Yeah. And they can pitch it, if they want to do the discount, they can pitch it as, I give a 10% discount to people who reserve their appointment time now, because it helps me keep my schedule organized, or something like that. I don't know how you feel. You and I have actually never talked about doing discounts for pre-booking, but I
mean, here we go on the D word, but I think, if you are new and you're needing to build your book, there's, we always have to step back and we have to say, well, what's the strategy? Like, where am I in my business? So, I think that if you're first starting out and you really need to build your book, the reason why I used to train my team to do that, and I did not offer any kind of a pre-book incentive, it was just an offering, and sometimes we just forget, again, that we're in the service business and we're in the business to continue to offer. But how I would train my team is, and I would give them the steps. So they would get a sheet, and these are the steps of, how the checkout process would go. And I was just really adamant about, reserving that future appointment time before they paid, because like I was saying, like in their mind, then they're already checking out and they're like already out the door, in their head. So, but I said reserving, and then this is for you too, reserving your future is more important than taking the money today.
Yes, that's a very
Preserving
good
your future
mindset to have.
is more important than taking the money today. And that's a real good coaching statement. But so whether or not you want to and you're in agreement with it, I think it's a personal choice. I don't think you need to give away the farm. Maybe giving them a little incentive, especially if you're building your book. That could be that could be an incentive to your clients.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. So my number 3 kind of goes along with this. If you are an esthetician that is either really busy or are just starting out, because I know a lot of people, when they just start out, they only have certain days and times that they work, and so not off, or I guess often, sometimes the client, you can't find a time that works for the client. And so always being like, okay, would you like me to put you on the wait list? Because then when you do have a no-show, it's not as devastating because you have a list of people that are willing to fill that slot. And I don't know about anyone else in here. I work from home. And so anytime that someone, I actually ask them, I say, do you guys have a wait list? And some people don't at the time, but they're like, yeah, I could make a wait list, and they grab a pen and paper. But almost all of my appointments that I have, whether it's like, doctor appointments, lash appointments, facial appointments, counseling appointments, like they all have a wait list, and they always get booked earlier than I would have with my regular appointment. And so, because it's like, if it's 2 weeks out, someone is bound to cancel in those 2 weeks. And so I just think being prepared when you do have a no-show, obviously makes it less of a hit. And so that's kind of my third point. There's no really, I guess you could do it the pen and paper style, but there is, my number 4th point is kind of bringing in the software. And a lot of estheticians have mentioned this in the group, and it's the Frederick software. And so this is awesome because it fills out last minute appointments. If you're having a slow week or something, it kind of automatically sends out emails to people who haven't been in a certain amount of time. It sends out appointment reminders. So if someone slipped through your fingers that you weren't able to pre-book, it has, you can set a time to where, this client came in at this day. So in 1 month, send them a text being like, it's time to schedule your next facial, or it's time to schedule your next fill, or whatever you do. And so it sends out automatic appointment reminders in that sense, not necessarily reminding them of the appointment, but reminding them to schedule an appointment. And they also have a free 2-week trial. And so I love free trials because I feel like when softwares do have a free trial, it means that they're confident in their product. And so you can try it out for 14 days and see how it works for you. They have it's not 24 hour. You can send them an email anytime, but they have customer service that you can actually call the people to set up your account. So for those of you who feel like they're technically challenged and need help integrating it with their booking system, there's someone that you can call that's more than happy to get that. So I'm going to go ahead and just post a link on the group because a lot of people are commenting about that. And I would love to hear anyone who has hired Frederick. I want to hear your experience with them, because if it's implemented correctly, it's literally like the cheapest employee you'll ever hire.
Yeah, that's really the truth. And I'd like to just, again, having a cancellation list is another one of those things. If you're booked 2-3 weeks out, I literally just had this happen to me yesterday. Like we never want to turn down a client. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I yesterday I had my property manager hat on, and I'm I'm renting out my Hawaii place, and so we need to get the condo cleaned. And so I called this new cleaning company that was a referral from another friend of mine who also rents properties. So I called this woman, and she answered, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm not taking on any new clients." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I was a referral, and it was a referral from one of her top clients." And she goes, "Oh no, I work every day. I work Sundays. I can't take it anymore. You know what I mean?" I said, "Wow, okay. That sounds like you need." Like, she was just willing to just like not like just throw me away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we never want to be in that kind of a situation where, you know, again, that kind of also, I feel like all of these fall into the accommodating one, but, you know, keeping that cancellation list could really save you. And I love the tool. So of the Hire Frederick, I have a lot of clients that use it as well, and they're very, very happy.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the best investments.
Yeah. So
we don't get anything from that, by the way. So just so you know, like, we're just given like we just like turning you on to cool stuff. So it's not like, hey, here's our affiliate link or anything like that. So just so you know.
Awesome.
Any questions? You're the one that has the comments. I know.
They're kind of coming in slowly. Elise said, please tell us where to find the Frederick software. I went ahead and posted a link. You can go ahead and just go to that link and then sign up for a 2-week trial. And I think we actually explained it more after or before she sent that comment. I have a discount. Okay, so back to the discounts for pre-booking. I have a discount when I was originally building a clientele, but not now. So if you are in that beginning stage, then maybe that would be a good option for you. Charlotte, personally, I pre-book all my clients. I have about 3 clients who don't pre-book, but they book religiously online. I think just saying something as easy as, hey, so let's get you in 4 weeks from today. How does X day at X time work? Or Shannon said, does the same day, same time work, so that they can, it's like a more yes or no thing. I rarely have people not rebook with me. I will also tell clients who are hesitant to book at that time to book their appointment now anyway. And if someone comes up, sorry, this is like, I'm having such a hard time reading this for some reason because it keeps scrolling up because new comments. Okay, so Charlotte's just a kick-ass rebooker, basically.
Charlotte, you go, girl. She's like one of my star peeps. She is awesome.
And then Amy has a question. Everyone has been talking about VIPs. I feel like everyone has a different definition of VIP. Can we talk about what different VIP programs can look like?
VIP programs? You want to talk about programs? We could totally save that for...
Yeah, that's a whole other video. There's like memberships and VIPs. We could go into all of that. I think in reference to this video, when we were saying VIP, we were meaning like, you know, either one of our dearest clients or something like that, not necessarily someone that's on a program.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I think that's it for today.
Is that it? All the questions? Okay, good. Well, you're in the controls of all the comments, so
okay,
good. Well, hopefully you found this helpful today. Thanks for being on with us. Yeah,
we'll see you next. Or Maxine, are you doing a video next week?
I am. I'll be on, I don't have the topic yet, but I'll scroll through and I'll look at the poll to see what's next on the list, or maybe we'll create a new one. We have a lot of new members, and I want to make sure that we are definitely posting content and training live streams that are helpful to you and things that you want.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.